Chuck, what did you hear across the wire? What came across the wires?
Well, it's one of those cases where no news is good news, and so when you get news, it's kind of, But I was all excited on the weekend. I saw I was getting these WhatsApp messages from these people in India. They were sending me these government notices, and they were saying that tariffs on peas and on lentils and chickpeas and whatever were going to stay at their current levels until whenever. For yellow peas, that was end of March.
Okay.
So that was zero tariffs on yellow peas into March. I thought, great. There's that uncertainty that cloud is no longer hanging over the market. And then about an hour ago, I saw that, they've decided to put 30% tariffs on yellow peas starting November 1st. I'm trying to check a few bids, but had the phone ringing a little bit and telling me that some bids have dropped 50 or 60 cents a bushel overnight or during the day today, I guess,
sure.
In response to that. And so, yeah, as if that market didn't need another kick in the teeth, it got one. And so, we really better hope that Mr. Carney plays nice with Mr. Xi and gets some sort of resolution there. Because otherwise, I don't know where these peas are going to go.
So, we have had, this fall, we have had decent movement and decent opportunities. Do you think that was going to India, as a destination, or were we getting something done into China at these values?
Well, I don't know. I don't think to China, because like China's September imports, they imported about 160 or 180,000 tons, and almost all of that came from Russia.
Okay.
I think Russia is able to supply that market. And so that was September. I think a lot of this was going to India, and it may be one of the reasons why they decided to impose tariffs now is because, so this is any bills of lading November 1st, after November 1st or November 1st and later. So it may be that because there are large volumes of peas already heading to India, and that helped us get to 750 and, bids and stuff like that, that they are deciding that, no, it's time to shut the door now. And the other negative part of that is, if wasn't negative enough, is that Australia has 2 million tons of Desi chickpeas sitting or about in being harvested or about to be harvested, and that's going to hit that market or be available. They might get hit with tariffs too at some point. I don't know.
Sure.
And then of course, then the automatic next question is that, are they going to do something more to red lentils? Right now it's 10%, and are they going to do something more? And so, yeah. So, I was kind of optimistic earlier this week, and now it's just kind of, oh man, I'm just going to pack up and go home. I mean, for me, it's just like, I don't like to see that by any means, but it's not really hitting my pocketbook for the farmers.
Sure.
They're the ones who get smacked with it. And it's, we were kind of nervous about that happening earlier. And then they said on the weekend, okay, zero tariffs. Good. We're good to go.
But they did kick that can down the road a few times, right? I remember, chatting on the podcast, or prior months and saying, oh, there's a deadline coming up and we'll see, but maybe tariffs will be back on, or, it's up for renewal here. And so I think they surprised us a few times by kicking it down the road further. Yep. But here we are now. Like from your, from the, you said on the weekend, some different messaging now today, Wednesday, this messaging. Is there a chance that this could be reversed in the next couple of days by the time we send out the podcast?
Well, let's hope so. Let's hope so, because when you read these kind of things, because it comes out on official government letterhead, you think, okay. And so, I'm asking my contacts out there, like, what's going on? I want to really confirm this, but, the fact that bids have dropped suggests, no, it's
something's there.
Real deal. Yeah.
All right. Okay. So, we did have the yellow pea market surprised me this fall in a way. Like, sure, we had that harvest low come in, and it was a tough low to see. But then we had that little rebound across the prairies, and I was fortunate. I got a chance to do another sale in that little rebound, post harvest rebound or whatever you want to call it. So it's tough news for sure. It's going to be a tough winter of marketing yellow peas. If this is status quo between India and China until the end of March here, but I feel like I did have some chances at least. So, yeah.
Yeah, but everybody has high hopes, right? that's part of being a farmer and, and an analyst, frankly, is you've got high hopes, and sometimes you're too optimistic instead of try to sugarcoat things, or you don't want to be brutally realistic, and so you try and anyway.
Yeah. Well, this one surprised me for sure today. So anyways, I did want to talk about general, the commodity trend out there. If you were feeling like, with the 2025 harvest, for the most part behind us, I know a few folks listening this week will put their hand up and say, hey, Ryan, I'm not quite done yet, but, generally behind us, very good crop across the prairies from all accounts here. Are you feeling optimism in just a general basket of commodities moving into the winter months?
I think so, and probably more for the cereal grains. We're seeing wheat exports running full tilt. Last year was a record. This year's even better. Barley exports are like a record by a wide margin. So that would be China for the barley side of the market. Those two are kind of leading the way in my mind. We're hearing about better basis on wheat or getting more phone calls from buyers saying, hey, do you got some? And, including some CPS or, hard red spring and CPS. Hey, do you got some? And so some specials that way. So that's positive. And, and in Alberta, getting feed barley back up above $5 and, or up to $5 or maybe a bit better, like those kind of things. And it's still early in the year.
Yep.
Those to me would be the more bright spots. And then in the canola market, it's chugging higher. I guess it's up a couple of bucks again today. On Wednesday. It's nudging its way higher as well too. And again, it's early in the year. And again, everybody's holding out this hope that there's some sort of resolution with China. If that doesn't happen, it'll just, we'll just keep chugging along. But I think there's still, there is this, when you get to around these harvest lows, that's when the pessimism gets the worst, in my experience anyway. That's when everybody's the most negative. And yet in most years, when we've worked out some of these numbers and things like that, in 8 or 9 out of 10 years, prices do move higher off of those harvest lows. Like you get some of these scare tactics. I remember seeing some earlier this fall on wheat and saying, geez, it's, you sure you don't want to set some targets because it's just bearish and it's just going to get worse. And if you want to get some movement before, still before January, you better book it now. And, and then if a few weeks later, they're a little more motivated to buy your wheat than they were before. So there is all this psychology that goes on in the market, which I'm not a psychologist, but I'm an observer of human nature. And for a lot of these crops, because they're big, like you were saying, we've been expecting, you'll get a move off of the harvest, off of the bottom, off the harvest low, but it's going to be pretty modest. And so that's kind of been our approach or our thoughts toward the most of the markets. The other bit of bright news, and it might affect cut across a number of markets. Bright news for us are these concerns about China and getting the corn harvested there, getting even some of the spring wheat harvested or the quality of their spring wheat crop, getting their winter wheat planted for next year. And so, there's a few of those little tidbits that are, that are a little more optimistic. And, what's your market stance? Can you find something to support it? Sure you can. So,
yeah.